Welcome, everyone, to a lovely Thursday. It better be Thursday, because I think it is. Lean on me. We know the song, don't we? What are we leaning on today? Last night I hosted a room. Well, I was invited to a room, and it was one of the most beautiful times I had ever experienced. And part of what I said in that room, Proverbs 3, verse 5 and 6, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways, acknowledge him, and he will direct your path. You know, he is the law. And it came up with, well, what is your own understanding? Your understanding is your senses. Your senses. The things you see and your sensations. Those are your understandings, your interpretations. And emotions, senses, they change millions of times throughout the day. One minute you're up, next minute you're down, next minute you're to the left, next minute you're to the right. Because everything moves, yes? But the law is consistent, it does not change. That's why you lean on it. It is predictable, it tells you every day all things are possible. Know what it is that you want. You want to change your life? It is possible. This is what the law says every single day. But you see, our senses, our understanding, would look out into the world and say, well, that's not possible. You can't do that. Well, you've been doing this for too long. You can't change. That's what your senses are going to tell you. Well, that's impossible. Nobody's ever done it before. But the law says all things are possible. Day in and day out, that's what the law says. So that's what you lean on. This is why Neville Goddard could be as bold and audacious to say, close the door on your senses. He's not telling you ignore what is happening. It's not what he's saying. He's telling you the things you're looking at are the previous projections that you put there. So if you want them to change, you can't look there. That's just the shadow. You have to look on the inside. The thing casting the reflection, which is the belief that you currently hold. So the law tells you, yeah, the universe is a mental creation. So what new thing do you want to create? You have to create it in your mind. And when you create it in your mind, that is how you cast the shadow out into the world. You're not waiting for the thing to appear. You've already created it. All you're now doing is holding the image so you can recreate it. A stencil. Trace it out. That's what you're doing. That's why it is already done. It is already done. If you were blind, if you were mute and you couldn't speak to call its name, your body can still have the sensation. So that's why he says, sum it up into one phrase. Isn't it wonderful? What would it be like if? So when you lean on the law, you don't waver. That's how you can walk by faith and not by sight. What's the faith? Well, that's what you know. What do you know? The law. Faith is not, oh no, I'm hoping for the best. That's not faith. Faith is knowing, because what is the other side of faith? Doubt. So what is doubt? Not knowing or knowing something else. Faith is what you know already to be true, and that's why you act according to it. That's why you walk by it, because you know it. So what are you walking by today? What faith are you walking by? Lean on the law because it does not change. It governs change. Day in and day out, it does. So walk by faith, not by sight. You're not walking and living your life based upon, oh, look, that's atrocious. I'm so scared. Oh no, there's another problem. Oh, look, another one cropped up. Oh, come now. What does the law say? We will come across many situations and many people. We will come across them. We will encounter them. Remember, everybody's casting their own shadow. They're doing their own law of gender, their own projection. So that's what you're coming across every single day. So what will you do? Will you shadow box every day? That's exhausting, isn't it? But isn't it wonderful that you know the law and you're going to live by it now? Oh. Mentalism, correspondence, vibration, polarity, rhythm, causation, gender. You know these laws. You see them around you every single day. You have the evidence of them every single day. So that is the faith that you live by. Lean on me. That's what you lean on. The law, day in and day out. It does not disappoint. It does not betray. It does not let anybody down. But it does give you the power to create in your life what it is you want to experience. Oh, but Angela, that is so far-fetched. Is it? Have you ever done something that you felt really proud of? Have you ever imagined something in your mind and said, oh my God, like that was totally so real? Because remember your mirror neurons. I'm going to drill this home. Remember your mirror neurons. You don't have to be the one doing the thing. But so long as you are observing the thing, you will experience the same body sensation. That's why I'm going to get a little nasty now. That's why if you watch somebody vomit, that's why you want to. Yes, you want to. And you're not doing it on your own. You're just observing it. But you're going to have that same visceral response. Use everything that the law has provided for you to use so that you are successful, because that is what it creates. It only creates success. So that's how you walk by faith on a daily basis. You lean into it, rock with it, right? Day in and day out. It'll keep your mood steady instead of being swung to and fro by your emotions. It's not that emotions are unpredictable, but they change every 30 seconds. And why do they change? Because we allow ourselves to be polarized in different directions on a daily basis. But you see, if you're walking by way of law, you'll recognize that you don't allow yourself to be swung to and fro. You don't allow that to happen. Why? Because the law keeps you steady. The law keeps you steady. And that's why you lean on it. You lean on it because you know. You know that when you say, oh, isn't it wonderful? And you have that sensation in your body, that knowing, you do the behavior as if you're living from the end. Because you're doing the behavior right now. It is the end. It is already done. You're not tapping your foot and anxiously watching the clock. Are we there yet? You're not doing that. Because what do you know? Well, what do you know? You know, I planted, so in due time I reap, and I always reap. And that's what you walk and you live by, day in and day out. You will find yourself being confident. You'll find yourself being worry free, ease, peace of mind. Why? Because the law is consistent. The law is consistent. And because it is consistent, you can rely on it. And when you rely on it, you have the confidence. What's that confidence doing? It's allowing you to walk and behave in a particular manner. That's what it's doing, right? So think about that for a moment. What are you walking? What are you walking under? Hmm? What's got you? That's what I'm saying to you today. That's what you walk by. You walk by faith. Faith is knowing. You know a thing. You got that one friend. If you say 3 o'clock, they're there at 10 to 3. You know. You have faith. When you call them, they answer because you know them. So that's why you have faith in them, because they're reliable. That's what faith is. That's what faith is. And the law, when you know it and you live by it, you don't fret anymore. You just know, oh, look, it's done. That's what you know. And because you know it's done, you live like it is done. You behave as if it's done. That's what you do day in and day out. Right? The law is not asking you to do anything other than check yourself. It's not asking you to judge yourself. It's asking you, check yourself. Is this what you want? Is this how you want to behave? Is this where you want to go? Always. That's what it's doing day in and day out. And the questions will never change. So you know how to answer. Today you might not feel like it. Tomorrow you may not feel like it. But what does the law say? The universe is a mental creation. As within, so without. As above, so below. Everything moves. And it moves between two poles, creating a rhythm, an ebb and a flow. Every cause has its effect, and every effect its cause. A projection of the will, masculine, giving life, giving form, feminine. That's what it says day in and day out. And that's how you're already living anyhow, by way of law. So you may as well do it with your eyes wide open, heart wide open. And you'll notice that you'll go through the day and you won't take offense to things. You won't throw your hat in the air and grab a folding chair because you're not about that life. You walk differently now. You behave differently. You are treated differently because you made the choice. You gave the blueprint that you wanted to recreate in your life. You knew what you wanted. When you lean on the law, you know it's not going to pull the rug out from under you. It's not going to do any such thing. How do you know for sure? Well, the scripture does say as long as the earth remains, there will be seed time and harvest. Correspondence, causation, and we ain't going nowhere. We've been here for quite some time, many times. Even though it might be smoky outside, you know it's daytime. You know you've got night and day. You know you've got summer right now, and it's hot. Mm-hmm. My friend just said it was 93 degrees, and I was like, yikes. We've had rain for the past 2 days. So we know. We know what season we're in. That's the law. That's how come you can know what season you're in. It is law, the law of rhythm. So you see, it is always consistent. You'll find that if you've got a real good buddy and they are reliable, do you see how peaceful you feel when you think about their reliability? That if they don't show up somewhere, you know something's wrong. Mm-hmm. That's the way the law is. Girl, I have been thinking of you. Yes, you just popped into the chat, beautiful Andrea. I've been thinking of you. Let's take a moment to welcome everyone into the space. Shall we, Twitter? Who do we have this lovely morning? Hey, Geck, I see you. Tiffany and Javion, I see you. Jeff, darling, welcome to the space. It is so good to have you all on this lovely Thursday morning. It's real good to see you. Mm-hmm. Fanbase, who's here? Hey, Dawn, KZ, Miss McQueen, Flo Smiles, Oracle Treehouse, Summer Rose, I see you. L, Yolanda, I see you. Where is my beautiful Zola today? I didn't get a note. I trust that all is well. See, I'm talking about reliability. Well, then she must have an appointment of some sort because she's always here. YouTube and Facebook. Facebook, we got Indy. YouTube, what we got going on today? Oh, Manifest with Jax. Hello, beautiful. It's so good to see you. Yes, it has been a long time. Yes? Andrea. Did you get my email, Andrea? I did message you, you know. It's been a while. Sugar Visions. I see you. Shea Butter. Hey, not yes, honey. It is Thursday. I had to double check today, too. It is Thursday. And let's see who else is here. Hello, David. Oh, well, good morning, Marjorie, darling. Goddess Pure Diamond. Hey, hey. The better man. I see you. It is good to see you. The better man says, good morning, Angela. Thanks for teaching me how to change my life. I stay in the moment and I am in love with the law. Well, that's how life should be. Right? That's how life should be. So, the reminder for us this morning is that we don't lean on our own understanding, which means we don't rely on our senses to dictate what is possible and what is impossible. Because those are senses, those are moods. You know, somebody flipped you off in traffic. Well, see how quick the mood changes? Indeed. But the law does not change. The law governs change, but it's in itself does not change. It is a catalyst. You can rely on it day in and day out. You can trust. So that's why you can walk by faith and not by sight, because you lean on the law. That's what it is. That's what you're doing. From that leaning on the law, your courage increases. Well, why would it increase? Because when you look at your situations, when you look at the things going on in the outside, you know where they're coming from. You know where they're coming from. And you know that if you don't like a thing that you're experiencing, you have the courage and the audacity to change it because you know that you're the one casting the shadow. The law makes you bold so that when you call those things that are not as though they were, they become. Why? Because the law says correspondence, as above, so below. Causation. Every cause has its effect. Every effect, its cause. That's what you know. You know that if you go into the yard and you have a succulent, you plant those little succulents in the pots, what you gonna get? The same succulent you planted. That's what you're gonna get. You know, you can guarantee your harvest because of what you planted. That's what knowing the law does. So when you want to create a new situation, you're not, is it gonna happen? Are we there yet? You don't do that. You don't behave like that. You ask yourself, well, Neville made it easy. Neville said, what would it be like if? Well, how would you behave? Well, instead of behaving like that tomorrow, behave like that now. Why now? Well, one, there is only now. And second, mirror, neurons. Those mirror neurons in your brain are always watching. That's what they, listen to the name, mirror. So whether you are the one doing the thing or you're the one watching the thing, your body responds every time. So when you do that, you know the law says, this mental image is what I have. This is what I'm, by way of gender, projecting outward. Well, then, this is what is being recreated. And you know you don't have to panic. I don't see it in my 3D. I don't have any movement in the 3D. They don't talk like that. Why not? Because you know what you planted. Well, then you can predict the harvest. It's not going to be a surprise. So you see, when you lean on the law, you walk with a different attitude altogether. What kind of attitude do you walk with? Knowing. That's the attitude you walk with, a knowing attitude. That's what you do. Marjorie says, this morning I saw someone on Insta asking her followers, what are their fears? And everybody listed theirs. And me boldly typing, there's not a damn thing to fear. Marjorie, listen, if you know Marjorie, you will understand that statement. There ain't a damn thing to fear. But you see what we do? The question was, what do you fear? Well, the moment you ask that question, the body responds in kind. So, what do you want to ask your body instead? What are you confident in? Because then the body responds in kind. You are not ignoring what you are afraid of. That's not what you're doing. You're not pretending it doesn't exist because we don't pretend around here. We keep it real. Or as my friend says, we keep it 100. Right? When you recognize, oh my God, I'm scared of that. You put it into perspective of the law. What does the law tell you? The law says, polarity says, oh, where are you now? What are you doing? You say, oh my God, I'm so scared. I behave like this, but I want to be courageous, so I'm going to behave like this. And what do? You start walking as if. You start living as if. You're living from the end, so now you're living with courage because you can clearly see that there isn't a thing to fear. Because fear doesn't govern you, the law does. The law does not create fear. It cannot, because that would be contradictory. But if you plant seeds of fear by way of law, you have to reap the matching harvest. That is law. Can't get away from it. Sorry. But would you want to? With the law, you are free. But of course, you are free. The law only creates freedom. But if you build a trap for yourself, if you plant bars for yourself, see, we drop bars, we don't plant them, okay? That's what we do. Whatever you plant, and what do I mean by plant? See that behavior that you do? That confirms who you say, I am. Well, that behavior, well, that's what you're planting. You can't say, I am, and then get up and go back to, I was. No. If you say you're the new man, then you have to live and behave as the new man, day in and day out. This is why Neville says, persist. Why persist? You see, we look at persisting as, because I tell you all the time, you don't feel like it, but you just do it. But you see, persistence is built in. Well, if you're living by way of law, if you're leaning on the law, you know that the new behavior you're doing confirms you as being the new person. So why would you stop? That's why you persist. But why would you stop? You said, I am. So I am can only do what you direct it to do. So if you say, I'm a success, well, then you have to start behaving as a success. What does success mean? Well, in the words of Earl Nightingale, it's the what? The acknowledgement of a worthy ideal. So you've accomplished it. You said, I'm going to put away the laundry, and you did. You were successful. I'm going to tidy up, and you did. You were successful. Because you completed the task. That is what makes one a success. But you see, when you live by sight, right? When you live by sight, then you're going to see the world say, success means this. And it's all glossy and glittery and sparkly. That's what success means. And you spend your whole life chasing it because you don't recall that you don't chase, you create the blueprint and then you put it together. If you have no blueprint, what are you building? See? So living by sight means you're just allowing somebody else to tell you how it should be instead of you being the operant power to say, I am. Mm. So what does I am? You just said I am. What are you? Well, then how does that person behave? Well, that's how you live from the end. By behaving like you already are what you say you are. You're not pretending. You can't, as I told them last night, you can't fake or trick your body into doing anything. The moment you make a decision, you have told your body how to behave. And so that's why it wires and fires inside your brain to match who you say you are so that your behavior can correspond. Because that is the evidence of who you say you are. How do you know? Because you'll know a man by his habits. What's he doing? But that'll tell you the type of man he is. Or what's she doing? They'll tell you how? Their behavior, the words that come out of their mouths. Why? Because out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. You know, Maya Angelou, I'm pretty sure she said, when somebody shows you who they are, believe them. So how do you know what they say they are? Because they've shown you. How did they show you? Their actions. So in order for you To live from the end, you have to do the actions that you would be doing already. You have to have the attitude. See, when you lean on the law, that is where your comfort comes from. That is where your inner peace comes from. That's where your peace of mind comes from. That's where your joy comes from. Not in things. Oh my God, if I don't have this, like my life will be like total crap. You know that it has nothing to do with the thing, but it has everything to do with the self. It has to do with you. Never the thing. You're the one creating the thing. So it can't be about the thing, it has to be about the self. So that's what happens when you lean on the law every single moment of the day. Check your alignment because you are always in alignment with law. You can't not be because then you'd be breaking the law, and the law is unbreakable. You cannot break it. You can't break it. You're always living by way of law. Whether your life is chaos or peace, it is by law. It is based upon who you say you are and the actions that you do. That is law. And that's why you examine the self. You get out polarity. Oh my God, where am I now? And what am I doing? Oh, you don't like it? But then what would you want to be and what would you want to be doing? You'd prefer that? Well, then start with that new change of attitude. That's why I say you're not pretending. You're not faking it till you make it. You're not tricking. You're not fooling anybody. You are living the way you say you want to. You're walking with the attitude you say you want to have. How is that pretending? When you said, I am. Live by way of law, and things will go smoothly for you. Not because I say so, but look at the evidence. Day in and day out, everything flows beautifully. It sure does. Everything flows beautifully. That's the whole purpose. You see, we go through life and we don't know the law. You're noscient of the law. You have no knowledge of it, right? And so we think that things happen by chance. We think that they're coincidences, but they're not. They are effects of a cause. That's what they are. And you notice with the law, you don't judge either. No, you don't judge. It stops you from judging. Yes, because judgment is not built into law. Oh, sure, you could say, but Angela, it would be causation. You could think judgment's in there, but it really isn't. It's not judging you. It's just simply saying cause and effect. So what do you want to experience? What effect would you like? Well, then the cause, which is you are the operant power. Joseph Murphy, I think he was the one who said you're the captain of your own ship. You're the one steering the ship. Where are you going to tell it to go? Well, that depends on you. Not me, not my feelings. But that's what we allow to happen to us. We allow our feelings to be usurped, hijacked. You know, somebody just come, yanks, I'm going to take that. You're going to do what I tell you today. They don't come out and say that to you, but the way they treat you and the way you respond, now you become the marionette. You're the puppet on the string. Being manipulated instead of doing what? Leaning on the law. You know that when somebody says something or they act a particular way, that's, as my son would say, that's a you problem, meaning it's their problem, not yours. Now, how you speak and how you behave, now that's a you problem. That's all on you. It's all on you. Anyway, but that's what it is. So then you don't take offense because somebody looked at you the wrong way, somebody said something off to you. No, that's just the kind of conversation they're already having in their own heads. It just happens to spill over. Why? As within, so without. The seed that they continually plant in their minds, they have to spew it forth. Same for you and I. So that's what it's called, but living by law consciously, knowing what you're doing. You got that either better, man. You're picking up what I'm laying down. I feel you. But it's just so, it is simple. Oh, did you clutch your pearls when I said it's simple? Well, here's the thing. You see nature struggling? Nah, she doesn't fight. She moves with ease. You are also meant to move with ease, and you are already moving with ease. Whether it is good, bad, or indifferent, the way you live your life is by law, and it is at ease. That's how you're living. Again, whether it is chaotic, it is at ease. It is happening effortlessly. Indeed, it is. You're reaping what you've planted. So how could that be a struggle? You're reaping what you've sown. It is easy. So don't be afraid to change. You know why? It's not unknown. It's not hidden in the shadows as what change is. You're the one who determines, well, I want to be like this. How do you know what you want to be like if you don't know where you currently are? Everything moves from to. Every time. That's what the pendulum is always from to. So you must know where you are. You must acknowledge what you're dealing with. And you're not afraid because you don't know how it's going to turn out. Of course, you know how it's going to turn out. Well, how would you know? How could I say such a thing? Because you are the one who looked at your life and said, well, this will not do. Well, then what would do? What would do? Then that is the attitude. And those are the behaviors. You have to do those things to confirm what would do. Why? Because mirror neurons, they go by correspondence, as within, so without. When you learn something new, you set down a new neural pathway inside your brain. And then it is only obvious that you have to do the thing that you set down. As within, so without. As above, so below. You have to. So in order to confirm that you're living from the end, that you are the new man, you have to speak and think and act as the new man. Because when you do that, you're forming a new neural pathway. Because that is the confirmation. That is the correspondence. You're not pretending. You're telling your body who you say you are. You know the scripture when Jesus asked the disciples, and who do you say I am? Well, who do you say that you are? Everything in your body must confirm who you say you are. So that's why you lean on the law, so you can be confident. Your confidence does not come from the outside. It is crafted from within you. That's why we say things like, I don't know. You think about this for a moment. It has to come from within you. Be the change you want to see in the world. Well, what change do you want to see? Well, then you have to behave like it. This is the whole point. Andrea says, I am is an absolute statement. Absolute is a perfect and self-sufficient reality that does not need to depend upon anything external to itself. So when you declare I am, It's automatic. But yes, yes. It is drawing from the law. Indeed, it is. 100%, Andrea. Yes. I am. So when you lean on the law, you are reminded day in and day out of your power. Again, you see why we run amok. Because we think power has to do with, ooh, my stick is bigger than yours. I can beat you. That is not power. That is fear. Don't get those two things mixed up. True power is the ability to transform yourself, your attitude from the inside out. That's what you're doing. You look at it and you say, ooh, a little bit of this over here, a little bit of that attitude over here, and I'm the perfect blend. That's what you're building. You're molding and shaping your life experiences. That's what you're doing. You're using your body and you're molding and shaping your external world. That's what you're doing. Day in and day out. Always the seed planted must bring forth its fruit. That's why the scripture says, you'll know a man by their fruit. You'll know a man by their fruit. What kind of behavior? All you have to do is observe. Observe. And you'll know exactly the type of person you're dealing with. And you don't have to judge them because they're showing you. You're watching who they say they are. That's why you can say, I am till the cows come home, but you're just saying it with your mouth. But it is your actions that confirm who you say you are, or the actions that betray who you say you are. Hmm? Just an observation. So be encouraged today to know the law and to lean on it. Lean with it, rock with it, right? I love that. Anyway, do that, and you will find that your life changes. How do you know your life changes? Because the body, you might not be able to see your blood serum levels change, but you are guaranteed that they are changing to match because it has to. What do you think a person at peace within themselves, what do you think their blood cholesterol levels are at? What do you think? Because their arteries and their veins are relaxed. So their pressure is not high. They're supple, they're pliable, they move with ease. They are relaxed. So the whole body must respond in kind. But if you walk around and you're angry all the time, let me tell you a little something. Hypertension will be your companion. Not because I'm mean in saying that, but I'm telling you, it has to confirm what you say. If you're walking around in tension all the time and you're tense, right? What do you think your arteries behave like? Well, they harden because they become rigid because you are rigid. It is the law of correspondence. So it is in your best interest. It is in your best interest to be at ease. Why? Because pain goes away when you're at ease also. I, as within, so without, as above, so below. It is law. So don't think for one moment that those internal arguments are not having an effect. Every cause has an effect. So what is the solution? Well, if the problem is the way you are thinking, well, then the solution would be to change the way you're thinking and become consistent in that. You see how simple the law is? Day in and day out, it screams simplicity. That's what it does, day in and day out. It says, it's so simple. That's what it says all day. All day. But you see, we think if we apply force, we think if we fight it, it'll change. No, you're fighting a shadow. You go to the source. Oh, what's the source? Who you say you are. That's the source. The universe is a mental creation. Well, the actual phrase is the all is mind. The universe is mental. It is a mental projection. That's why you don't have to pretend like you already have it. You have to know you already have it. Why do you know you already have it? Because when you are the one holding the image, that is the stencil that you recreate from. Just like if you've got a little sapling in your hand, a strawberry sapling, and you put it in the dirt, do you not have strawberries? Of course you do, because that's the only thing that's the only fruit that plant can bear. That's what it is, day in and day out. So when you lean on the law, your confidence, your faith, notice again, faith has nothing to do with the unknown. Faith is acting by what you know. The example I gave is, you got that real reliable friend. You know you can call them. That's like my dad. If I call him, he'll come. Yes, indeed. With bells on, he'll be there. He is reliable. So I have faith, not because I hope he will come when I call. No, because I know he will come when I call. That is what faith is. It is the knowing of something, and you act according to what you know. Well, you can't act according to what you don't. You're only going to act according to what you know. So it's in your best interest. Practice the law on a daily basis. How do you practice the law? By being clear, for one, about what it is you want to experience. You look at your life. The only way to know what you want to experience, look at your life. Where are you now? What are you doing? Where are you and what are you doing? Then that's what is going to help you determine whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. Do you want that to continue? I'm giving you the process. Know what you want. You see, we sometimes try and live our lives according to other people. But at the end of the day, if you do that, their life is not yours. We say it all the time. I'm living vicariously through you. Mm, living vicariously, are you? Don't live vicariously. Live with intention. But again, those mirror neurons are handy, aren't they? Whether you're the one doing it or watching it being done, you are being prepared to do it. Yes. They say the body doesn't know if you're the one doing it or if you're watching. That's not true. What do you do in a mirror when you watch? When you look in the mirror, what are you doing? You're watching yourself do something. So the body is not like, oh my God, I don't know if that's George or if that's Angela. No, it knows. Andrea, she has a question. The subconscious doesn't have a voice like the superconscious mind. Could the ego possibly be the voice of what's in your subconscious, all the programming? I understand. I understand the question. You see, because when you say the word ego, gotta be ego, right? When we hear that word ego, it's been so demonized. Here's how you're going to differentiate the still small voice. When you catch yourself and you say, because there'll be two instances, oh my God, I should have done that. I should have done it. Or the other way is, oh my God, I'm so glad I did it. I'm so glad I listened. Those are the two instances. That's how you will know your inner voice, your still small voice. What is the ego? We think the ego is, heifer, I am better than you. You ain't got a swagger like mine. I'm the best at this. Ain't nobody can come close to me. Nobody can compare to me. Uh, That's arrogance. Confidence would be, I know I'm good at what I do. Pretty cool. I can learn what I don't. That is confidence. We think ego is bad because we fracture ourselves. And I'll read that part to you again because you said the subconscious and then the superconscious. There's only one consciousness, just like the brain has two halves, left and right. But there's only one brain. So when you have a thought and you speak and you act, you've only done one thing. So we have all of these pieces. You have to know there's the body and you're in it. There's your body and you are in it. Because when you're dead, there's just your body. You are not in the body anymore. Go to a funeral, you'll understand what I mean. When you look at them and they seem so lifeless, well, that's because they, the awareness is gone. The awareness is the thing that animates and moves the body. You. So when people say, I know Neville calls it the fourth dimensional self, because this word ego, oh, that's just your ego talking. No, those are things that you've learned along the way. You cannot destroy the ego. It's what you've learned, but you can shape it. Like, then people say things like, oh, your shadow self. There is only the self. But now you have to know what you're capable of doing. You have to know your price. So we have to stop. But that's the thing, right? Here's the other part of the question. Isn't the spirit, aka superconscious? There is only one. There is only one. One awareness. One awareness. One. So maybe say things like mind, body, and spirit. It's not mind, body, and spirit. There's only one thing, and it is the awareness that is inside the body. Who am I? Where am I? What is my purpose? The awareness. That's that is spirit, the awareness. But think about it. When you fracture the self, you understand, by way of ego, subconscious, superconscious. The subconscious, from a scientific perspective, is that part where you learned and stored all of that information. Yes, your programming. Is it bad? or is it good? Well, that depends. Because when you judge it, you're just looking at the situation. You're looking at what you've learned. And if you say, I see what I've learned, but I would prefer to learn something different, to go in a different direction, then you have to start learning a new thing. And you have to be repetitive about the new thing until it takes root inside your subconscious mind and you can do it on autopilot. So, what are you doing? You're training your body to do a task. That's what you're doing. You're training your body to do a task. So, the thing just running below your consciousness, it's like, I don't like that they've fractured it because there's only one. Because then what happens to us? We sit there and we say to ourselves, okay, I got to get to my subconscious mind. Dude, the minute you recall a memory, you're in your subconscious mind. You're drawing from. You're drawing from stored information. That's what you're doing. Ego is part of that. You're drawing from stored information, things that you have learned. But we judge and we fracture. Keep yourself whole. See, that's why I say keep yourself whole. Because now the question is, what's soul? What's your soul then? Know this. You are inside your body. Your body is an organ comprised of many organs. It's a system, right? And you are in it. Who is in it? When you look at your hand, you flip it over, you see the dark side and you see the light side, depending on where your pigmentation is. When you look at that, you're using your eyes, but who is using your eyes? You are using your eyes. As I compare to being alive and not being alive physically, when you look at the corpse, okay, you know that there's something missing. What is missing? Then that is the answer to your question. That essence, that awareness. They're no longer in that body. They've just left the body behind. The body is just a tool. It's an organ. So you can use the word soul, spirit, subconscious. You can use them interchangeably. But when you fracture the self, that's where the confusion comes. Because then you spend time trying to find what's already there, who you are already. We identify with the body because we're in them. And we think that that's all we are. But that's not the case. You're just in the body. You're just this unseen and seen. Make it easier then. Unseen. Your spirit, your soul, your consciousness is unseen. So to make it seen, you have to put it in something that is seen, which is your body. You can see and touch and feel, smell, taste. That's the seen, the visible. In order to make the invisible visible, you have to give it form. That's all you're doing. And that is vibration. That is polarity. The unseen moves faster. Form moves slower. That's why you can see it. So what is your soul? What is your spirit? What is your consciousness? The unseen part of you. And in order for the unseen to be interacted with, it has to take shape. This is Manifestation 101. The unseen. All you have to do is slow it down and give it form so that it can be seen. Andrea, does that make more sense? Really? I cannot see Zola at all. Seriously, I can't see Zola. Not on my fan base, I can't see her. That's how come. Yeah. Awareness. No. Awareness. What am I? Who am I? Where am I? What are you aware of? I know, because this is the other question here. The word awareness confuses me. What is awareness? What does it mean to be aware of something? You know it. That's how come you're aware of it. When you have a conversation, you go, well, I wasn't aware of that. When do you say that? Well, I wasn't aware of that. You say that when you don't know. So then if you're going to say I was unaware, it means you did not know. So to be aware means, oh, I know that. That's all the word aware means, to know. Now, what do you know? What are you aware of? Are you aware of yourself? That is what awareness means. You know yourself. Think about the conversations we have. You go somewhere, you're like, oh my God, did you hear about this? You're like, I wasn't aware of that. That's what we say in conversation. What are you saying when you say, well, I wasn't aware of that? You're saying, oh, I didn't know. So what is awareness then? Awareness is to know. To know what? Something. Awareness means to know something. That's what awareness means. To know something. That's honestly, that's the simplest way to put it. Awareness just means to know something. And the best way is by the conversations we have. Well, I was unaware that even happened to her. It means you didn't know something happened to her. You didn't know something about the situation. But awareness now went to know something about the situation. Andrea, does that make sense? You are, Andrea, you are talking. You're using your body to speak. And that's it right there. That's it right there. That is such a beautiful place. I understand that I'm not the body, but who is talking in this body? You are, Andrea. Your body is named Andrea because that's the part the doctor, you know, cut the umbilical cord and said, "Here you go. Oh, look, mother. What are you going to name her?" And she named the body Andrea. But the thing that moves Andrea's body, that is actually who you are. So who is that? That's what you're asking. Who is that? I. That is who it is. I. Not me. I. Queen Red Pill, beautiful to see you. She says the body is just a vehicle, an outer suit. I definitely realized that during my near-death experiences. My true essence was floating outside looking down at the physical. Yes. Yes. So Andrea says, so technically, it is an unseen being. Yes. In order for me to interact with you, Andrea, I need to have something material. I'm going to say it that way because I'm material just like she is. Living in the material. Yeah, you're material. So we can interact. But the telephone, you don't see them, you hear them on the telephone unless you're video chatting, right? Then you can see them and hear them. So, yes, the unseen part of you, the unseen part, that is you. That is your essence. That is I am. That's what it is. So now if you use the law of correspondence, right? If you use the law of correspondence, it says as above, so below. You are aware of being yourself. Hmm? Well, then there's something. Even if, think about this, even if you are not religious, it is inherent within all humanity that there's something greater. Not greater as in, I'm going to beat you down. Not greater as in that, but greater as in there's something more because there's something more to you. You know this. And so if you use the law of correspondence as above, so below, you can look at yourself and see, okay, I am in this body and I'm moving this body. I'm animating this body. You know, you do the dance, the robot, right? You do the robot. You are the one animating your body. So something above you is also doing the exact same thing. Don't ask me what, because I don't know. All I can tell you is, as above, so below. So if I am here below and I am animating myself, then there's something above animating itself, and there's something below me, because I'm in between, animating itself. Well, that is law, as above, so below. So I can't say I am life here and that there's nothing above me and nothing beneath me. No, I am life. So there's life above me and there's life below me. Just by way of position. Because that's one of the first things we learned in TCM school, traditional Chinese medicine. Man is between heaven and earth. So the sky and earth. Man is between. So proprioception, you know where you are in space, where you are. Your hand is over here, your other hand is over there, where you are. So in order to say that there's something above you, you have to be in between. As above, so below. We all know there's ants, there's spiders, there's beetles. That's below. There's worms. That's below. Well, then, if there's life below us, there, according to law, there has to be life above. So because you cannot see it, it does not mean that it's not there. Because as I said, if somebody's just looking at a corpse, that person is no longer there. They're no longer there. But they don't stop existing. Where do they go? Well, you have to use the law of vibration to figure that part out. What is the rate at which they were moving in their lives? What frequency? Well, then they have to be in the same place as that frequency. That's that's the best way to explain it at this time. But without the knowing, because we don't have the experience with it, that's what you have to do. Use the law to help you understand, to help you comprehend until such time you experience. Andrea, and that is a beautiful thing. That is that is a beautiful thing. We all seek to understand. And yes, David, you are correct. Nameless, shapeless, formless. Energy, just raw power. So the energy exists. You are the energy. You are this thing that exists. And that's why I tell you, when you look outside in the world at your life, you must understand this is just one spot. It's just one spot. But we allow our emotions to limit us. We are limitless. But that's for another day. And Andrea, that's what meditation is, to properly interact with the unseen. All you're doing is listening to yourself. And Dr. Joe Dispenza, I find that he explains it in a really awesome way. Um, he says, no thing. Not nothing, but no thing. So when you sit in the silence, you'll find that it shrinks, but it also expands. Let me explain. When you sit, and then I'll close with this. So when you sit with meditation, you first start to hear all the things on the outside of you, the sirens, the horns, the cat, the dog, you hear all those things. And the more you breathe, they go into the distance. You don't hear them anymore after a moment. But then now what do you hear? You go from the outside inward. What do you start to hear? You start to hear your own heartbeat. You start to hear the blood in your ears. And then pretty soon, you'll stop hearing that. Well, then, that part. See, so you shrink, but you expand. You expand in the fact that you now go into this place where all of those noises that you shrank from have faded into the distance. They've faded into the distance. So now you can feel your body, sure. But then there's just this other part, but you have to experience it. So if you take the time, right, to meditate, and that word has been demonized also. So if you take the time to just sit there and breathe and stay there and stay still, that's why sitting is the best, or else you'll fall asleep. But if you sit there and just breathe, you will notice all the noises begin to shrink and they become less and less, but you become aware of something else, which is the non-physical part of you. That's what you come into contact with. That's the part, but you have to experience it for yourself. Like the other day, my son said to me, Mom, what is it? It looks so good. What does that taste like? Tell me what it tastes like. I said, child, I can't tell you what it tastes like. I said, it tastes good. But if you want to know, you're going to have to taste it for yourself. So he tasted it, and now I have to share. So you have to experience it for yourself, Andrea. So the next time you sit to meditate, understand what you're doing. You're not just sitting there, oh my God, I have to do this. No. Be intrigued by the fact that you're getting to know that part, the nameless, shapeless, formless. That's what should arouse your curiosity and make you sit there with stillness to say, oh, who am I? And you sit there. And you sit there. That's what you're doing, Andrea. You're not just meditating because it's the end thing, but that's why you sit still. You have to quiet the body. So that's what I will oh, now you're, oh, yeah, Zola, I don't understand what's happening. She just DM'd me on Fanbase. She's like, I'm in the room. I'm like, I can't see you. So you guys, lean on the law. Lean on the law. Because it will show you. You see, as I mentioned to them yesterday, the reason why manifestation has taken off as this big thing we live in a capitalist society. So them bills ain't gonna pay themselves, right? But there's more. There is more than manifestation is going to happen regardless. It is because we are. And so, in order to see ourselves, we have to manifest. But in order for someone to spend that time in silence, to come into contact with who they really are, that you can't be hungry, you can't be broke. So that's why you have to feed a hungry man before you can teach him anything, because he can't hear you otherwise. He can't. So that's why I teach you every day, so that you can go out there and create the things that you need to be here. But don't for 1 minute think that because of the things that that's all there is. You see, the ultra rich will tell you, well, it's not the money. Look at how much I have and I'm still unhappy. They'll say that to you. So don't wait till you get there to figure that out. You can figure that out now. You can understand that things are things. But you are greater than things. Greater is he that is in me than he that is in the world. What does that mean? Greater is he that is in me. Because you are the one who makes the thing in the world. So you're always going to be greater than it. Because it comes from you. So you are greater than it. You are the creator of it. But you can't get there if you are hungry and panicked and freaking out. You won't ever see that because it's survival. And that's why so much effort goes into keeping humanity in a state of survival. Because if you ever come into contact with what you really are, good God Almighty, ain't no stopping us now. That's the point. So practice bringing and creating things. Because then you'll begin to understand that you're creating yourself. And then you will ask, who am I? It is a process. It truly is. But have those who hunger and thirst for righteousness shall be filled. Have the hunger to want to get to know what it is you are. Don't be satisfied with, oh, well, I'm just in the world. No, you're in it, but you are not of it. Be so, I have to use this word, be so aroused that you must satisfy that urge to know the self. And that's what will cause you to sit and meditate. That pull. Oh, there's more to me. Let me find it. And it's not lost. You just have to get real still. And you'll feel it. You'll sense it. That is your word today, my beautiful friends. I love you all so, so very much. I don't think you understand how much I love you. I don't think you get it. But when you begin to understand the beauty of the law, then you will understand what unconditional love is. And when you open your eyes in the morning and you look at your brother, you look at your sister, you look at your neighbor, and you look at everybody around you, you will understand that there is no enemy on the outside. And you will love your neighbor as you love yourself. That's what you'll do. That's what you'll see for yourself. But again, it is a process. You can't do it if you're hungry. You can't do it if you're naked and you're cold. Because ain't nobody got time for that. Right? You don't have time. Right? And Queen Red Pill, oh, she says, in my meditation, time and space disappear. Oh, au contraire, beautiful. Time and space. You see what you are. You see what you are. You're no time. You're no space. You're no thing. Yet you are everything. That's what's so beautiful. And I want for you to know it. And I want to know it more for myself also. Anyway, I love you all. Gek, Tiffany, Jeff, I love you. And you know we're gonna go over to YouTube because I'm gonna hit the bowl. So I'll give you a couple minutes to get there if you want to, and I'll see you there. Oh God, I love you so much. You guys are amazing. You've moved me so much this morning. I love you all. Twitter, I'm gonna see you on the YouTube side. Twitter is closed. Fan base, oh, for the ones that I can see. Listen, if I didn't call your name, that's because I don't see you. So, Flo Smile says the app be apping. Dawn, Coach KZ, My Melanin Flow Smiles, Miss McQueen, Oracle Treehouse, L. Yolanda, and allegedly Zola is here in the mix. So, those are the ones that I can see. And for who I cannot see, I know you're here. And I love you. Pop over to YouTube if you got time because we're going to hit the bowl. I'll give you a couple minutes to get there. I love you all. Fan base is closed. Now, let me do this and get into the chat on YouTube so I can hear the bull for myself. Let me get in there. There you go. Queen Red Pill, you know what? I did respond to your email. Let me know if you got it. The last email was time, and so I gave the time. Hey, KZ. Um, yeah, let me know. Let me know if you got it. Let me get the ball up. Zola, you're here. Yeah, see, I figured as much. I went into my sent folder and I checked, and it did send. So I discombobulated. Technology, right? You love it. But I'm glad I saw you in the chat so I could tell you. Yeah. Ah, ah, the better man. I see you. I see you. All right, let me go over and get the bowl. Here we go, y'all.